republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Brunner?
Here.
Councilmember Stanton?
Yes.
Councilmember Weimer?
Here.
Councilmember Mobley?
Here.
Councilmember Barnett?
Here.
Councilmember Weinhopper?
Here.
Council President Jenks.
Here. We did have an executive session this evening to discuss professional services contracts. And I'd also like to thank everyone for coming a night early. Of course, we had to make a decision by last Friday because of potential snowfall, and now it looks like we may not get anything, but you never know. It's good to err on the side of caution. So, having said that, we'll move on to public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening? Sir.
Adrian Jidik, Wyomissing. I want to start with by an objection under the Sunshine Act. And I'm here again to raise the objection, what I believe to be a serious violation on the Sunshine Act concerning the borough's insurance switch and the $500,000 settlement that contributed to our staggering $300,000 increase in premiums. Since I first raised this issue, Borough Solicitor Hartman has remained completely silent. His lack of response, despite clear public concern, raises serious questions about the borough's commitment to transparency and ethical governance. He does not work to protect employees or, this council. He actually works for the taxpayers. It is his responsibility to ensure that decisions made by this council adhere to the law and are conducted with full public accountability. So to this day, we still do not have an explanation as to why or if the borough was dropped by its previous insurance carrier. We still don't know what process, if any, was followed in selecting EHD as the new broker. We still don't have clarity on what the $500,000 settlement was for and why the borough paid it in secrecy. We still have no sign of accountability for those responsible for this financial disaster. This borough cannot operate under the shroud of secrecy. Public funds were used to settle an issue that was not allowed to discuss, and the solicitor is the only one person whose duty is to ensure that the law is followed, is actively avoiding addressing the concerns raised. I demand that Mr. Hartman and his council, provide full transparency on this matter. The taxpayers deserve to know where their money is going, why it's being spent this way, and what measures are being taken to prevent this from happening again. And now my public comments for tonight. On the agenda item, a proposed motion regarding 50/50 sidewalk program in Liens. I'm here to comment on this motion that is under the Infrastructure Committee report. I urge the council to oppose moving forward with liens and harsh enforcement on homeowners who fail to respond to violation notices, particularly when the borough-owned trees are the primary cause of the sidewalk damage. Even with a 50/50 program, many residents face cost-prohibitive repairs and are often unaware of the legal procedures to follow and cannot remove or trim borough tree roots without special permissions. For fixed-income households, these expenses can be devastating. I understand that the Pennsylvania law, and by the way, I did an extensive research on this, places the onus on the adjacent property owner to maintain the sidewalk, but I believe we should step back and reconsider the unfairness of the structure, especially since some neighborhoods, entire neighborhoods, have no sidewalks at all. Those residents are effectively shielded from all these problems and expenses, yet they still enjoy the benefits of having a walkable community and mature shade trees throughout Wyomissing. Meanwhile, households with sidewalks must shoulder these expensive repairs on their own and even risk legal penalties if they cannot afford them. There is also the issue of the transparency of the notices of violation, which has not been addressed by this council yet. So we don't know who's hit with these things. If some people are protected or given special treatment, we simply don't know. We rightly consider our roads to be a communal good, something every taxpayer helps fund. In the same way, sidewalks and street trees are also a communal good. Everyone benefits from safe, modern, ADA-compliant sidewalks and a beautiful tree canopy. Other municipalities have recognized this issue and moved towards a more equitable, cost-effective solutions. After decades of property owners unfairly bearing the brunt of sidewalk cost repair, New York City shifted to a policy where the municipality assumes direct responsibility for sidewalk reconstruction when city trees are the primary cause. By managing sidewalk repairs centrally, officials
15
can
seconds.
plan comprehensively. This is a 5 minute, a less than 5 minute comment. I don't know how your clock works.
Mine does.
When,
Continue.
well, you interrupted me now. Well, I don't need that. So, just considering that we employ Craft Municipal Group and pay for-profit fees for zoning and code enforcement, those costs alone could be avoided if the borough changed this approach. Beyond that, we must also factor in staff time spent in issuing violation, court costs of enforcement, expensive that ultimately fall back on taxpayers. A more
30
proactive
seconds,
borough-led sidewalk plan would eliminate these inefficiencies while ensuring a fair and consistent sidewalk maintenance. I urge this council to oppose this motion and instead begin discussions on a long-term borough-led solution that benefits all residents. Thank you for your attention.
Are there any other public comments? Okay, hearing none. Let me just address one thing that Mr. Jadik, your information and assumptions are incorrect. These are employee matters, and you are not entitled to information regarding employee matters. So that's what all I have to say with that. Okay. Moving on, you have received the council minutes of January the 14th. Entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to the consulting engineers report.
Nick?
Yep, I'm here. I apologize for not being there in person. Feeling a little under the weather and didn't want to get anyone else sick.
We appreciate that,
But
Nick.
just a couple highlights from the report. The contractors finishing up the Cambridge culvert. The 2025 street project is currently out to bid. We have a pre-bid meeting scheduled for later this week, and bids will be before council at their March meeting, the next meeting. We're working on the West Lawn Interceptor and the Berkshire Heights Playground projects, and hope to have those out for public bid in the next couple of weeks. Those are really all the highlights I have, but can answer any questions if there are any.
Anybody have any questions of Nick or of Jim? Okay. Oh, you're getting off easy, Nick. Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consulting engineers report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Nick. Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to the police chief and mayor's report. Chief Phillips.
Good evening, everyone. Everybody, I assume, had a chance to look at the report. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Just a couple of highlights for the month. We responded to 629 calls throughout the borough. We gave assistance 27 times and received it 8 times. We did a couple of community service events, a fraud discussion at the Jewish Federation, and a panel discussion on human trafficking, both Berks County and Lancaster County District Attorney's Office. I discussed it briefly at the Fire Police Committee meeting about my year-end report. It is complete, and I made the executive summary part of this report so that those that were not present for fire and police could hear it tonight. But as a quick review, for the 2024, we handled 8,909 calls. That is an increase of just under 1,400 calls from 2023, and it was our busiest year on record. We ended up arresting 376 adults and juveniles. There were 476 incidents that were UCR reportable offenses, so crimes. That, if you look through the whole report, that was a decrease from last year of nearly 25%. We administered naloxone 4 times throughout the year, and all individuals that it was administered to survived. We issued a combined total of just over 3,600 citations, parking tickets, and warnings. There were 711 crashes, which is pretty much the same over the last 3 years. We patrolled just over 127,000 miles and consumed just over 13,000 gallons of fuel. And revenues brought in were around 234,000, and our expenditures totaled just over 3,270,000. One other thing that I did was I added a graph in here by districts so that you can start to see where our calls are actually being occurred throughout the borough. And I put it then a copy of our district map at the end so you could see it. After I submitted it, I kind of don't like the way it looks with the layout, how I'm going back and forth, so I've actually gone back and I've played with it a little bit so it'll be together next time. So you'll be able to see right then and there. So you can kind of see where in the borough we are responding to the most throughout each month. If anybody has any questions at this time, I'll be glad to answer.
Any questions for the chief? Hearing none. Nice summary to your report. I'll entertain a motion to approve the police chief's report.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. On to the fire chief's report. Chief Holmes.
Good evening, Council. For the month of January, there were 161 responses by the fire department. 89 of those were in the borough. 72 were mutual aid that we gave to our neighboring communities. Of the borough incidents, there were 45 that were QRS or EMS calls that we were dispatched on. We had 24 patient contacts with 0 Narcan given. Our average number of responders per incident is 4.35. Staff completed 149.75 hours of training in January, and our busiest day was Friday, and the time is between noon and 1 o'clock, seems to be our busiest time. We did a total of 17 inspections out of 22-ish that were scheduled for January. Seems to be on track with where we were at last year at this point. Other than that, I included in the council report a heat map of where our incidents are distributed for the month of January. You can see that we are going further and further away for some calls. There's several calls in Birdsboro, some at the south end of Spring Township, as well as up into the northern part of Byrne Township in January. And if anybody has any questions, we're more than happy to answer them.
Any questions for the chief? Hearing none. Entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Moving on to committee reports. First one tonight is the Refuge and Recycling Committee. Mrs. Barnett.
Met on January 15, 2025, we reviewed the applications to fill the vacancies, and the committee's recommendation unanimously was that Barbara Fisher and William Glasser be appointed. Their credentials were submitted, were shared with everybody as part of the agenda for that meeting. But if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I believe that other committees, the Borough Council President has appointed them, so if we need to make a motion to approve the appointment, we're certainly happy to make the motion. But it seems different than how other committees are vacancies for.
Yeah, I don't think these fill. I mean,
Do it on record like this.
But not economic development.
I mean, I don't care one way or the other, we just want them on.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's different.
Hard to shade our council approved.
yeah, it's on the agenda, so why don't we?
That's fine,
just do it.
that's fine. So I appreciate, I'm making a motion to appoint Carla Fisher and William Glasser as voted members of the Refuse and Recycling Committee.
Second.
We have a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And we have a special meeting called for February 19th, at which point we are going to be joined by Jane Meeks, who's going to talk with us about refuse and recycling countywide. We're going to be discussing the process for bid specifications and divvying up the responsibilities for working on that project. We'll also be working on the refuse and recycling participation grant.
Who's behind the county program?
Jane Meeks. And then we're.
Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Next is the library board, Mr. Weinhoff.
Thank you so much. So with the library board, we did notice one discrepancy from the prior minutes. I was listed with making a second for some of the motions. I'm not a voting member of that board, so they did redo those items. So we have just redistributed the board terms, as we mentioned before, and then also we increased the voting threshold to change the bylaws. Up to 2/3 of the board would have to be in favor of amending the bylaws going forward. This evening I did also invite David Walker from the library board, just to make a brief mention. We are looking to start to open up some board positions potentially to West Reading residents, so I asked him to come and just speak on that topic directly today.
Thanks,
David,
Rick.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So this, just to explain the board has been considering this for several months for the benefit of the library and for the benefit of the board, to get the strongest candidates we can on the library board. This is a proposal to open up to 2 seats. The board has 15 members, up to 2 seats on the board to West Reading residents only. There's a couple reasons for this. First of all, we're bringing it here to council to see if there are any objections to this, but I'll just explain what's behind it a little bit. First of all, we want the library board wants and needs the best people it can find, and we've had to turn down a couple of people who have applied from West Reading because they don't meet the Wyomissing residency requirement. And the board wants people with skills, talent, energy, ideas. We just want the best people on the board we can get. This is not a proposal to earmark or allocate 2 seats to West Reading residents. We may never have any. We may have up to 2, but no more than 2. The other reason, besides getting the best talent, is for fundraising. This will give us more standing to raise money in West Reading from the businesses, to press their borough council for money. West Reading accounts for 15% of the library patrons. So they're using we're the default library for West Reading. We want them to contribute some money, and so this is a way, we hope. We cannot guarantee that this will loosen up money, but we certainly have more standing if we do this. Now, the library board has been discussing this for several months off and on, and this is, you know, at this point, we're unanimous in our desire to do this, if there aren't objections from the Borough Council. I'm here to answer questions.
Dave, I have a question. Is the bylaws need to be revised to allow non-Wyomissing residents?
They would be, yes.
And they haven't been yet.
They have not, no.
And it would be up to 2.
It would be up to 2.
Yeah, just to go back a little bit, we voted numerous years ago to help support the library, and we budget them $200,000 a year to go towards their operations and maintenance. We still maintain the building. We own the building.
Yep.
And we maintain the building, but if we did not do this, that would have been shuttered by now.
Yeah, that's true. That's why we're here asking.
As I told Rick when he discussed this with me, I said, I'm fine with it, but certainly no more than 2. I mean, this is still money from Wyomissing taxpayers, and we are accountable for that money.
I understand.
As is the board of the library. So, and that's all I have to say on that.
I have a question. Could you tell me, what's the total number of people that subscribe to the library? 15%, you said 15% is West Reading.
The number of card holders, okay, the 15% is the number of card holders. There's 15% of our card holders from West Reading. They account for slightly less than that of the circulation. We don't have data on how much they use our programming, but it's around, so it's around 14–15% for users and circulation.
You were looking for a number, Ron, weren't you?
Yeah, I was
Total
looking, I was
number
wondering
of
what
card
the
holders.
total number of card holders.
Colleen
people
told me
use
the other
library.
day, and the number she gave me was 10,000, in the neighborhood of 10,000 card holders. Now, most of them don't come into the library regularly, so.
And would the 2 people be voted on by the existing library board?
Yes, they would. Most likely, and the way we tend to do it is board members come on as at-large members. They're essentially alternates. About half of them come on as alternates, and then if there's a vacancy on the board in the middle of the year, one of the alternates will step in. So we have had.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say we have had West Reading members, but they're non-voting in the past, and people from West Reading are reluctant to serve if they can't vote. So that's.
How many people from Wyomissing Hills belong, rough, off the top of your head?
I don't know. I'd have to look at their addresses. I'm sorry. I
It
can't
would
answer
be
that.
interesting if we could find that out, because, you know, I mean, there were definitely, I don't like to use the word competing with another library, but the fact remains that we are, in fact, competing with the Wyomissing Hills West Lawn Library.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, so, anybody have any other questions?
I do. So I just got, I think it's probably a good idea, but we're giving them $200,000 of Wyomissing taxpayer dollars to use, and we're gonna have non-residents representing that $200,000 to vote.
But not majority.
Again, I don't really care if we do it or not, but I just find that a little awkward.
Well,
I-
it probably would be more awkward if you found that all 15, nobody gives a dime to the library and they're all on board, so.
No, that's part of their bylaws.
Yeah.
They have to.
They have to.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's interesting. How about the 2 people who cough up a couple dollars or something?
How much?
What's that? How much is it? $100?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
The library, approximately 60% of our funding comes from, our operations funding comes from the borough. The borough does maintain the building, it's true. We have to go out, the board's primary responsibility is to go out and fundraise.
Well, we asked West Reading to donate 15% of the $200,000.
There's gonna be more pressure on them to do it, and we're gonna get on it, but.
In addition to the 15, addition to the 200, right?
But the fundraising on West Reading and Main Street.
No, I agree.
That gives them a leg up.
I think it's great. I don't have a problem with it at all. I just have a minor issue with non-taxpayers paying a little bit.
It's like having West Reading people on the rec board determining what recreational activities Wyomissing has. Doesn't quite make sense, but I don't think
All West Reading, they don't have any West Reading people.
doesn't hold over the universe either.
No, I agree.
They're already members of the library, so we're using the
Yeah,
library.
we're using the libraries, that's to be representative, that's fair.
Well, but it's not like 85% of the rest, it's not like the rest is Wyomissing. There's a significant number of cardholders from around the county.
All right.
So you understand.
Does West Reading have a library?
They do not.
No.
And the rule among the libraries in the county is, no other library is allowed to encroach on our territory in fundraising. So other libraries can't come to ask, businesses or they're not supposed to ask businesses in Wyomissing. They consider West Reading neutral territory. They will have less of a claim on that if we, we're not the West Reading, we're never gonna be the Wyomissing West Reading Library. But we can make the claim to other libraries, we serve that area, we represent them, they're on our board, and that's our territory, so,
I'm sold.
okay.
The only other, and when I was reading all this the other day, do we get a copy of your financial statement with your monthly report? I don't recall seeing one in quite some time.
If it's not,
See it in the budget.
yeah, but I mean, you're talking about the monthly report we received from Colleen, the
Yes.
minutes, not that I'm aware of, she simply sends the
No.
meeting minutes.
We can have that conversation with her to send over.
Yeah,
When we do,
I
we
mean,
do a vote on
we
the-
need to know that, you're there, keep an eye out, but I think that would be nice to have a copy attached to the monthly report.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We have a motion to approve it.
Does anyone else have any questions for Dave? Thank you for
All right,
coming
thank
tonight,
you.
Dave. Good luck to you.
Is it okay? If we-
Yeah,
Good?
yeah.
Okay.
It's not really a,
It's not a voting matter, I don't think, but
we're just gonna approve the report, but,
okay.
yeah, it's not, because theoretically, we could tell you, we didn't like it, but we really don't have that authority over the
No,
library.
I understand, but as you know,
Yeah.
we come and
It
ask
was
for
a
money.
very good idea that you showed up.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
I'll make the motion to approve the library.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Moving on to infrastructure, Mr. Bruner.
Okay, construction in on January 21st. First thing on the agenda is the committee's making a recommendation to approve authorizing change order number 2 to permit time to LB Construction Enterprises for the 50/50 sidewalk work due to weather conditions. I'll go to second.
We have a motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Next item is a motion that the committee is making to approve, recommending including in the spring 2025 50/50 sidewalk program, any property for which the owners received a violation notice has not responded, and placing a lien on the property for the cost of the repair plus a 10% contingent upon no response for final letters sent to the property owners. And before I go on to that, this 50/50 program has been going on now for at least, 10 years?
It's 10 years this year.
10 years this year, and I believe everybody has been notified of this over the last 10 years. It's been extended multiple times, and I understand the concern, but the sidewalks are a problem in some areas, and I think they need to be fixed. So the committee's making a recommendation, I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
And motion is needed to, committee's making a recommendation to approve authorizing payment change to order number 1 from Algeyer Enterprises LLC for the final quantity adjustment for a decrease in the water main replacement contract of $10,970.50. I'm glad they make that motion. Second.
We have a motion and second, roll call please.
Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reiner?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
Committee's also made a recommendation to authorize payment to authorize change order number 3. Sorry, authorizing payment, application number 4 in the amount of $28,413.75 from Algeyer Enterprises LLC for the water main replacement work. I'm glad to make that motion. Second.
We have a motion and second, roll call please.
And Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
The committee's also making a recommendation to authorize change order number 3 in the amount of $1,736.01 to Construction Master Services LLC for Stonehouse work, project work, and I'll make that motion. Second.
We have a motion and second, roll call.
And Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
And another motion to, I'll make to approve authorizing payment application number 6 in the amount of $17,114.25 to Construction Master Services LLC for the Stonehouse project work.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll
Or, excuse me, roll call, I apologize.
And Councilmember Brunner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes.
I hope everybody read the Public Works report.
Well done.
It's interesting to see how much you get done. It doesn't look like you're doing much sometimes, and then you read what you've done. It's crazy.
That's why I write it.
That's high praise right there. Still
Jim,
working.
you have any comments on that, Jim, at all?
No, I don't do a monthly report as the fire and police. This annual report is the only one we do, and I just do it for general knowledge so people do understand that there's more going on than what you think.
Which was my point exactly, just stated it a little nicer. All right, and I'll make a motion to approve the infrastructure committee report. Second.
We have a motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, thank you. Moving on to the rec board, Mr. Weinhofer and Randy.
Thank you so much. One of the things that we are trying to get done this year with the rec board is build on our work from last year and try to get things done earlier and more efficiently. So that's one of the things that we are trying to work towards this year. We had our recap of some of the events. At the end of the year, we're already well into planning for the playground program, as well as starting to think about the parade as well. And getting the pool situated as well. And then I'll turn this over to Randy for anything you'd like to add.
Good evening, everybody. From a facilities rental, we've had almost $1,000 in Stonehouse rentals in the last 30 days. The fundraising campaign is up to almost $9,000 at $8,750. Last weekend, people braved to come out to stargazing in the park. I was amazed there was 35 people there in 28-degree weather. But if you're a stargazer, it was like everything lined up perfectly. It was one of the most beautiful nights. You could see everything from Neptune to Mars. Everything was great. The egg hunt is coming up on April 12th. Earth Day is April 26th. We're moving forward with the Touch a Truck event on May 31st. Playground registration opened on 2/15. Right now, we're at 95 registered, with $12,500. No one has said anything negative about the increase in the rates. Pool registration opens up Saturday with all the pool activities, gymnastics, swim lessons, and memberships. The rec guide will start hitting homes, I think today is when it actually started hitting, it started shipping on Friday. We're working on reinstating the student advisory committee as part of the rec committee. And that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions.
I was glad to see that we found the leak in the pond and were able to get that repaired, and the water frozen, and it looked like there's a lot of people down there enjoying the skating.
That ice skating amazes me, how people flock to that thing. Just to give you an example, and I'll use social media as a reference, a typical post that I put up garners about 25 to 30,000 interactions. So either people viewing it, liking it, sharing it, so on. When I would post anything about the skating, it would be upwards toward 175,000 interactions, which just amazes me that the community is just enthralled with that pond. One of the lessons learned, and this was a recommendation, is, do a fire pit, hot chocolate, and open the restrooms. We had several people make those comments or recommendations to us, so it's something we'll look at. Hopefully, we're not going to get any more freezing weather like that. But
the other option you have is to allow some not-for-profit entity, some school district, outdoor club, whatever they're called, let them be the people to run not the fire pit.
yeah, the hot chocolate.
Sorry, Ethan, I won't have them do the fire pit. But if they want to run a hot dog stand and all that kind of stuff, and let them make the money and do it on their own, it doesn't cost the borough anything. You've got a captive audience.
Growing up, every weekend, that's where we went and got hot dogs and hot chocolate, and
It amazes me
it was great.
when I would
Great
go out
time.
there. And the public works guys
Here's the
doing,
Searfoss ran it.
that whole crew did an amazing job with maintaining and upkeeping the pond. Greg and his guys were amazing with that.
Did they use the Zambonis they made a couple years ago?
The street sweeper.
I remember they attempted a Zamboni. I think we used it once or twice.
I remember seeing pictures of
Didn't
it.
you buy those huge containers at Home Depot or Lowe's?
Something, yeah,
You stuck a
and
bunch of towels in it.
wet
and
towels, yeah.
You put the water, and you just drug it around on it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, works the same way, melts it and then freezes it.
That's what I did to his sidewalk.
Thanks, Randy.
So we do have some motions here, so I will make the motion to appoint Jess Leinbach to serve as a voting member on the Recreation Board, term to expire on December 31st, 2025.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
I'll make another motion to recommend to council that we appoint Pamela Wetzel to serve as a voting member of the Rec Board, term to expire on December 31st, 2026.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
What part of the borough do those people live in?
I'm not sure where Jess
You don't live in the
lives.
hills, is my question.
No, I think they both live pretty close to here. One is the Wahoo's swim club president, and Jess Leinbach volunteered a ton with us last year, but I think she lives off Garfield.
All right.
And that is the end of my report.
Make a motion to accept the rec board report.
First, do we have any questions for Rick? Anything else? No. Okay, we have a motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thanks, Rick. Moving on to Park and Shade Commission, Mrs. Reimer.
Thank you. Park and Shade Tree Commission met on January 22nd. Some of the key points, Michelle has been hard at work with meeting with Florida Teeter, Newburgh's Nature, the Rotary Club, trying to get grants to match funds and to try and get us more money to move forward with some of the projects that we want to do and subsidize the budget that we have for this year. We also got an Eagle Scout on board to refurbish the Stonehouse gazebo, and I believe he and Greg have been in contact, so they're working on that. We did approve 3 subcommittee formations. One is the Bird Box Committee, where they are monitoring the birds, maintaining the boxes, making sure everything is up and up. And Lucy Carnes is the head of that, and she's been working diligently on that for some time. We formed an education subcommittee, which will just try and get out educational information, newsletters, help with some of the parkland signage, work with kiosks and stuff like that. And we are forming an outreach subcommittee, which would be tasked with seeking volunteers for different events such as local cleanup efforts, if we're trying to get rid of some of the invasives, educational events, Earth Day, etc. And then there is a motion, trying to think of her first name, Linda. Linda, is it up there? Linda Macrina had come to, I believe originally Randy, who then spoke to me, and would like to have a plaque, similar to the plaque that the Rotary Club is putting on the platform that they worked on. She would like to have a plaque placed on the shade structure at Happy Hollow to honor her granddaughter Sophia. Dan and Vanessa do not know about this. That shade structure was donated by the family via the Make-A-Wish donation. So Linda would like to have a plaque put on that in Sophia's honor. So I would, where's the motion at? I would like to make a motion. Does anybody have any questions about that? Okay. I would,
So I think, if I understand it correctly, the structure was erected without requesting the permission of the property owner. For
the shade one.
The school district, yes.
Well, that was before my time, so I don't know. Well, the motion is I'm requesting that council approve installation of a plaque at Sophia's Make-A-Wish structure at the Happy Hollow Playground, contingent upon the review of the Wyomissing Area School District Facilities Committee, and in accordance with the guidelines that we put on the Rotary Club's signage.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you very much, and that's all I have.
I do have a question on plaques.
Yes.
You know, we have talked about it, and this goes back years. Where do we stand with people who want to donate a memorial bench and have some sort of plaque on that bench? It was being discussed, and then I haven't heard anything for months.
That was tabled till we got through the parkland study, and I mean, Park and Shade is still working their way through the recommendations of the parkland study, and since we're talking about moving some of the trails, I would hold off on putting benches anywhere until that's completed.
Okay. Just as long as it's not on the back burner.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'd like to ask a question about parkland, at the risk of annoying people. Is there anything going on with our wildflowers over there? Have we rid the borough of the invasive species so that we can have wildflowers there in the spring, or are we still studying the concept?
Well, are you talking about wildflowers over on the pool side, where that staging area is, or are you talking about over next to the parking lot?
Right next to the park.
Okay. Either way, we're at the point now where we're trying to find the funding and come up with a schedule for everything. And I don't believe that's off the table.
If I provided the flower seed.
Well, it's more than that. We've got to make sure, well, you can't, if you drop flower seeds in something that's full of invasive species, the invasive species will win out, and the money spent on flower seeds will be a
That
waste.
would be good use of your seed money.
Yeah, your seed money would get washed away.
I would actually put the seeds down there to see how quickly they died, because I know they were there for like 10 years, and they didn't die in those 10 years. In fact, the guy who put it there probably died before the flowers, right?
I know they didn't die, but
Jim can tell
the
you. He knows
invasives that
better.
are there now will choke them out. Those invasives probably were not there 10 years ago. I don't know if there's,
I
what's,
think they cut
they're
everything
fighting there.
down.
Jen,
Yes.
is it any way addressed by Florida Teeter's report? Did you get that far with wildfire?
No, we haven't really, like, we are just now, the report's been finalized, Michelle's been meeting. We're just now trying to move forward with what little funding
You're
we
gonna
have.
have to get things.
But there has,
Flora, fauna, whatever
Flora.
the name is.
but there has been discussion.
Yeah,
about
there's been a
the
lot of
flowers
discussion
and-
about it,
and
so.
how to get a mix.
I mean, step
To get the right mix.
number one is we need to get the invasives out. There's no point in
Right.
doing anything until the invasives are taken out.
So we've got to clear that land to make sure the invasives aren't there and get the right mix of flowers. We will have flowers at some point.
So if you'd like to come weed.
They may be on my grave, that's okay.
Just a couple of them. We're not gonna put that down.
You're getting a potted plant, you're not getting any plant, you're getting a potted plant.
Okay, any other questions?
I do have a question, there were, in the packet, there's a drawing of a painting of flags down at the playground. Is that up
Yes.
for vote or what?
That was
already approved
infrastructure last month.
The
Oh.
infrastructure and council.
Well, it has to go to the school board.
Mark Boyer indicated he should have a response back to me in a week or so.
So council approved that?
Last
Yeah.
month.
But on that subject, unless I was reading something backwards, last 5 pages ago, it said the Boy Scouts were looking at changing that design.
Girl Scouts.
The Girl Scouts are doing this.
The Girl Scouts are looking at changing the design, so is that off the table, or was design, they negated the possibility of changing it?
I think they're looking at it.
Correct.
So it's not done.
I mean, it's done in that it has council approval. Council approved it at the January meeting.
So then they'd have to undo it and come back to us and tell us they don't want to do it now?
No,
or-
I would say it depends how significant a change it is from what council approved. If it's not that much of a deviation, we'd give an updated infrastructure, but I don't know that it would need
We
to
still
come
have
back.
to wait for the school board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea was to abstract it a bit more
Yeah.
and make it feel patriotic and less flag-like.
Right.
Yeah, well, I guess the only reason I'm asking is because
Right.
whoever this Girl Scout was, or whoever it was, page
Second grade
326.
troop, Jen Dollar.
It was under the infrastructure minutes.
Right, and that person said they were looking to change it. So
No.
is that, they still looking to change it?
That is not what they said. We went back to them after the council
Oh,
meeting.
so it's different than what we just read.
We,
We didn't read
We
it.
didn't read anything.
Well, I just read something like
Well,
5
I don't know,
minutes ago.
Ron, cause that's back in infrastructure, we're on Park and Shade.
Well, I didn't bring up the flags, you brought the flag up now, so we're talking about the flag.
I brought.
He brought the flag.
Yeah, you brought the flag out.
I just, I wasn't here at the January
Okay,
meeting, so I didn't know.
Moving on.
I have nothing further for Park and Shade.
I'll make a motion to accept the report.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to, Fire and Police Committee met on January the 27th. The report is pretty self-explanatory. I do want to discuss one item which seems to come with rather large communications. But under the police department report, Chief Phillips shared that a request was made to look into tractor trailer parking along Van Reed Road in the area of Douglas Street. With the truck parked right at the corner, there was concern about visibility. The committee, against the accusations that were made via emails, did discuss this and what options are available to us and also to the owner of that tractor trailer. The committee decided that it would be in the best interest for the police chief to first speak to the owner of that tractor trailer and to see if we can come up with some amicable arrangement and then report back at the March Fire and Police Committee meeting. That's where that issue stands right now. I just wanted to make everyone aware of that, if they had missed it before. Okay.
Do we have any updates? Have we been able to contact the owner of the vehicle yet?
I have gone out twice and have not received an answer. I've had an officer go out twice and also has not received an answer. I've penned a letter. I gave a copy to the borough manager, sent it certified mail. I haven't got anything back yet. I've had an officer check, that same officer that went out has checked the truck out. At the end of January, the truck came out of inspection. So I put that in my letter as well. And we've also sent him an abandoned vehicle notice, and it has been stickered. So if it does not get taken care of, it's gonna be moved shortly by us as an abandoned vehicle. So
Well, that'll just, that moves along the process quicker.
I tried, I don't know if he's out during the day, you know, when I'm here, so I don't know.
I thought there was an email from the neighbors saying he travels for months at a time.
That might be the case, he may be out, but, I've attempted, like I said, I sent a letter. So, but like I said, if in a few days, if that's hasn't been inspected, we're gonna be moving it.
I know, I went over to take a look at it last week, and there is an extension cord that is plugged into it that goes along the sidewalk, which I let Michelle know about it.
Craft code has been
Yeah.
notified of that.
Perfect, okay. Because needless to say,
We're working on it,
tripping
you know,
hazard.
so,
Huh?
we're attempting to.
Yeah, hey, if we don't do it, you know, act it as an abandoned
Ow.
vehicle.
I felt
I
that.
felt that here.
If we wanna look at something in the future, I believe though, we will need to do a traffic study for site angles on that. But I don't know if we're gonna, you know, I don't know.
I think
He's
there's
gonna
some other-
get his truck back eventually.
One step at a time.
No, I know,
Yeah,
I'm just
I think we
saying.
have, before we spend the money in the traffic studies, I think we have other options that won't cost the taxpayers any money.
Yeah, so I just, it's
So-
progress, let's say.
Progress is correct. Okay. Alrighty, the committee made a motion to approve authorizing sending a letter to Western Berks Ambulance Association designating them as our EMS carrier or provider dated January the 13th, 2025. And I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, committee is also recommending authorizing the unbudgeted expense to fit out a new entry-level firefighter / EMT with firefighter protective gear and uniforms not to exceed $6,500 pending the successful completion of the required physical, background, and psychological evaluations, and I will make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor? Would that be?
Yeah.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Ryder?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes. Okay, we are also recommending activating the Civil Service Commission to establish the testing process and timeline for creating a certified entry-level firefighter / EMT hiring list, and I will make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The committee is recommending upgrading the electrical work at the fire station to accommodate the 220 amperage electrical needs of the police department's special services unit, not to exceed $5,000. And I will make that motion.
Second. Is that a budgeted number coming out of somewhere?
That was, I was going to ask that, where's that gonna come from?
No, that.
I mean,
that
there
wasn't
is-
budgeted.
There,
They
It's
didn't
not
even know,
budgeted.
they didn't even know the problem.
there is a line item for fire station maintenance and repairs, but it's
That's my
not
point.
a budgeted number, like that 5,000 is not in that
You know,
budget.
but it's in, that's where it'll come out of at least
Yeah.
for now. Yeah, okay. Making sure.
Roll call, please.
And Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes. Ethan, find something to put under the police department budget.
They got a lot of money from the relief.
Okay, and, motion is needed, authorizing the necessary temporary repairs to the capstone mortar issues at the fire station for a cost not to exceed $1,000, and discuss future budgeting for facade repairs to address further deterioration and safety concerns. You wanna talk more about that?
Sure, since the fire and police committee meeting, not this past week and the weekend before, a large chunk fell off the side of the station in the vicinity of where the parking spaces are between the building and the Wyomissing Family Restaurant. Chief Holmes contacted both myself and Assistant Public Works Director Greg Capriola. Greg went out with the Buildings and Grounds Department. I authorized them to run a lift because it was the only way to get up there to actually inspect. It was, I wanna say, less than $3,000. The good news is they still think with the temporary repairs, they can hopefully get us through the remainder of the freeze and thaw season. The not so good news is we're looking at probably a $70,000 to $90,000 repair we're gonna have to put out to bid that needs to be done sooner than later.
And that work, the temporary work being done by Public Works,
Yes.
that should probably be in the motion. Shouldn't it?
I think you could probably add that to the motion.
Yeah, you can make the motion.
Yeah, I'll make the motion with that addition.
We have a motion with that additional, addition, second.
Second.
We have a motion and second, roll call.
And Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes. Is under some of the state grant money, does the station have to be owned by a volunteer fire company or can it be owned by a borough for repairs?
I think it depends what grant program you're looking at, and the
I
problem
just
is
read
that
it in it's in the October issue.
we've found throughout that process they are extremely competitive. Extremely. Like
I believe
pots
that,
of $200,000 with 500 applicants each asking for several thousand. Yes, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it leans more toward volunteer fire stations versus municipal, but, okay. Okay, moving on, need a motion to approve adopting the B-Cert resolution, naming Chief Phillips and Sergeant Quinter as part of the B-Cert Board of Chiefs, and I will make that motion. Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is needed to approve accepting the permit application received for the Armed Forces Day Parade to be held on May 17, 2025. Chief, everything in order there?
Yep.
Okay. We have a motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And I'll entertain a motion to accept the Fire and Police Committee report.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
What information are we waiting for on the 1,000 block of Penn Avenue? The item that was tabled, it looks like we're waiting for more information, so what information are we waiting for and when do we expect it to be in?
I think we're just exploring other avenues, and we're gonna talk to the post office personnel, you know, and go from there, you know.
Do we have an expectation of when that conversation is gonna happen?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. So it's something that's just gonna hang out there for now, so we don't have any?
We have a table for right now, yes.
Are we talking about the fatality?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The parking.
Yeah,
The parking issue,
I thought Michelle had this is confidential, had a conversation with Judy Schwank, who asked the fire department, or the post office to take a look at it and do something.
Okay.
Senator Schrank contacted me and asked the borough to consider restricting parking on Penn Avenue because of the fatality and other accidents that have happened there.
So is that something that will now end up back in this committee to look at those parking restrictions, or what are the next steps then?
Staff needs direction from the committee. I mean, action was tabled, we weren't given further direction as to how to proceed.
But I thought you said that Judy asked the post office to do a study of, was I dreaming that?
Yes.
Yeah.
We would just be looking to restrict parking on the
South side of
eastbound,
Penn Avenue.
Whatever,
Could I ask a
yeah,
question,
whatever
Rob?
that direction
Sound like
is.
a nightmare.
That's a good question.
Again, we were just going to
Yeah, I mean,
explore
it's like
all
playing frog
options.
across that street, I hear.
We looked at a lot of different stuff, like temporary parking, hour restricted parking on the south side
So
of
it's
the
tabled
eastbound
for now.
lane. We looked at parking behind, was that Hobart?
It's burned, that
Burn
turns
there,
into,
Hobart the next block.
Cause you gotta go a lot of steps to go
So we
to
should,
down to that.
we should
parking
expect to
lot.
see this item on the next fire and police committee agenda?
I can't remember what we did in the committee, because there's no action the council requires.
Yeah, we were just gonna table it and just gather, we were gonna talk to a whole bunch of different people. Do you want it back on?
Somebody else can-
I mean, it seems like we have a response, so I'm just, looking for clarification at the moment. It sounds like Michelle has a response from Schrank's office, so is this gonna be something we're gonna expect to see coming
I
up?
think it's more of a issue of line of sight as to where to put the signs, if in fact we want to put the signs up. And then do we keep it that it's no parking with the exception of Sundays? Allowing additional parking for Bowsman's Church.
I think it's a lot more nuanced than just eliminating parking.
I didn't bring that reports that I presented at fire police, but most of the crashes that have occurred there were between a certain time frame as well, and I suggested, because Bowsman more than likely has group things in the evenings during the week, that we maybe do it between, I think it's at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to cover what incidents we've had. But during that 25-year period there, we've had seven pedestrian involved crashes, 2 of which were fatalities in 25 years. So one is horrible, but you can't say through PennDOT standards that there's a overwhelming issue there. So with that post office and the limited amount of parking they have, it's going to be very difficult. I think that was, as I remember what the committee was saying, that if we take that parking away, where are customers going to go? Because the post office took away the parking lot for just employees, because they're not allowed to park where the works is any longer because of some zoning restrictions for the works area there. So there's just not a lot of parking then for people that are patronizing the post office.
There's a good amount of parking if in the other direction as well. It's just if somebody's going that
Right,
way,
they're not
nobody wants to
turning
turn
around.
around.
Right.
So they're gonna cross
If
the
someone's
street.
traveling
They're
eastbound.
gonna cross the street.
The-
I mean, I would like to ask that it's just stay on the agenda, just so that we kind of keep up with, I don't know.
Okay, the one thing, Chief, I wanted to ask, and I saw the paint marks in the street. Am I to assume that this last fatal accident happened in the westbound lane? And not,
I believe so, yes.
so
I remember
judging
the
from where I saw the paint where they marked the tires,
Yeah.
this accident, in fact, we're all under the assumption this happened where a car cresting the hill and unfortunately hit this gentleman. Where in fact, the car and him were playing chicken. One's coming up, heading westbound,
The
and he's
pedestrian was
trying to cross the street.
crossing from the north side
eastbound.
to the south side.
Yes,
Because he parked
Yes.
You're dangerous than crossing the street.
So,
I think
Does anybody
Randy Boyle
feel
would
not
feel
parking
that
anymore?
makes sense.
yeah.
This is the chances of them getting caught
Well,
in
So,
5 minutes.
okay, let's put it back on.
Let's keep it on.
What are you,
Yeah.
what are you looking for then? Because that's something I'm gonna have to present. So what,
Your professional recommendation.
Well, I don't, are you gonna just apply the same standard to Josie Dell, because there were some fatalities down there? And if you're gonna, you know, why are we treating that differently than
I
Dell?
mean,
reality,
there- I-
they
as
Those
I
who don't have
recall,
a crosswalk.
Oh, okay, but.
Well, it's
but-
at a curb,
But
if
if
you
two
will.
fatalities in
Yes.
25 years mean you stop parking on the other side of the street, then how do you justify not doing the same thing?
Well, are there 2 fatalities down there?
I can remember one down
Well,
there.
if
You're-
one
Oh,
fatality.
Okay, well, we have this going back to fire and police, we can hash it out at that meeting.
I think we're
Okay?
looking for a bunch of suggestions
Yeah.
in maybe sequential order. Let's try this, let's try that. I don't know if we're gonna ever find the right answer.
I don't, that's what I felt I did last meeting. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what else we could do with what, other than what was suggested there.
Well, I have no problem with keeping it on the thing and raising it again, rehashing it, see if we can do anything. Parking on Burn, going eastbound, that's not possible.
Well, you're gonna have to adjust the double
The
yellows.
double yellow line.
So that, because if you can picture in your mind, when you get past Trent, there's parking in front of the residences there, so the
Yes.
double yellows shifted over.
Right.
So you would have to do that all the way down through. I just,
Is it feasible?
I think, I mean, we'd probably have to make sure the road's wide enough and everything, but
That's the
I'm
only
also,
answer.
I'm also a believer that what are people gonna do? Because most of us are lazy,
Yeah,
including
they're not-
myself.
I agree.
So they're not gonna pull around and go down and park down there and walk up. They're gonna be coming eastbound on Penn Avenue. They're gonna pull, they're gonna say, I'm gonna be 10 minutes to run in and mail my stuff, get my stamps, whatever, and they're gonna come back out and come across. And that's what they're going to do.
Okay,
I
let's,
agree. I
let's
agree with that.
rehash it again at fire and police. Thank you. Okay, are there any other questions for fire and police? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Economic Development Committee, the mayor isn't with us this evening. Anything, we had
I spoke.
just an update.
I spoke to Fred this afternoon on the phone, and I asked if he wanted me to give an update, and he said he felt the report was self-explanatory.
It's a pretty thorough report.
He's right.
Kudos to Melissa as
Yeah.
usual on the minutes.
Yeah, it was very thorough.
She's right.
Very
I'll
good.
make a motion to accept the ED report.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to the Planning Commission, Mr. Stanko.
Good evening. The first item on the agenda is 15 Innovation Way, the Waterhouse Island. We've been bouncing around for the last 6 or 7 months. That was a planning commission meeting to talk about the land development plan, which was summarily dismissed by the members of the committee, except for certain items found to be well-intentioned. One was that was changing the scale from 1 inch to 30 feet to 1 inch to 50 feet. Second was the amenities, benches and the.
No, we have to, first, you have we need to talk about.
You don't
the
need
motion.
to have a motion for the benches, though. No, it's just a motion for the.
But they are the ones that, they are in my mind, because there were 3 lack of substantial items that were approved. And the one item that wasn't approved, which was the waiver of what's not that?
The benches that were on the plan where there was no sidewalk were suggested to be gotten rid of. That's not a condition that McCarthy Engineering did, that was just something that was raised.
Yes.
But that has nothing to do with it, we don't need to worry about that.
I wanted to mention it because the major thing they came in for was to get approval. They did not get approval.
That's correct.
But they did get approval for 3 insignificant items that they've been working on for the last 6 months. And I was just suggesting that we have an entire planning commission, that it would be helpful if we could move along these programs for our developers. That's what I was suggesting.
I 100% agree with you.
Okay, well, I was.
He
gonna
did
say
not
it
meet the
wasn't approved.
conditions of the letter that said he was supposed to meet. So
Exactly.
he said he will meet them for the next time.
Exactly, but this is for next time, and next
Okay,
time.
let's continue.
So, does everybody understand that?
Yeah, so we make a motion.
What's that?
We leave it.
Yes.
I'll second that.
John,
Motion and second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it.
Melissa, that just involves the scale.
Second item we had was a Flannery Field waiver request, which we honored. We did have the presence of Stephen Murray there to talk about also serious importance of the parking area over there. And the folks from the school district decided that they would honor our request to make a request to the school board to find some place for the buses to park and ask them to find another place to park, which they said they would do as part of their project that they're developing. So that was approved. And waiting to see what happens. And we did approve the fact that they waived on the development plan. So, all in favor?
You're making a motion, as stated. I second it, as stated.
We have a motion and a second to approve item number 3. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Any other questions for Ron? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the planning commission report.
So moved.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Borough manager's report, Mrs. Fair.
Good evening, council. The Western Berks Water Authority board minutes were provided in your council packets. I'm not going to read the list verbatim, but as you can see, there were multiple items that were sold on municipal to various individuals at various purchase prices. Jim, do you have anything you want to add about that?
No, but the big item on there, the generator that powered, backup power for the Berkshire Boulevard pump station that was redone this year, brought $11,600, pretty significant.
I'm respectfully requesting a motion to approve the lease agreement between the Borough of Wyomissing and the Relief Association of Wyomissing Volunteer Firemen for the Relief Association to purchase a new utility pickup truck to be utilized, maintained, and insured by the borough. And this is identical to a current lease agreement that's in place and has been in place since 2011, other than the VIN number and the year, make, and model for the vehicle are obviously changing.
So I think it's also important to bring out that this vehicle is being purchased by the Relief Association of the Wyomissing Volunteer Fire Company at a cost of about $54,000. So, again, we are guided by the state under foreign fire insurance funds what we can use this money for, but this is one item that we can. So it's good. So we have a motion from Steve.
And I second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Friendly reminder, Borough Hall will be closed next Monday, February 17th, in observance of President's Day. And advanced notice that I will be attending the Pennsylvania Municipal League's Public Employer Relations Advisory Service Conference, February 26th to the 28th in Hershey.
I move to accept the borough manager's report. Second.
We have a motion and second. Are there any other further questions for Michelle? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, in your packet, you have the treasurer's statement of operation, which includes the general fund, the Bureau of Water, sewer fund, highway aid, refuge and recycling fund, and the road tax fund. And here to enlighten us this evening is our treasurer, Mr. Reeser.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really don't have much comment on the fund balances since we only had activity since January. We didn't have a financial and admin meeting this month, it was canceled. But I would just assure you that January and February and maybe part of March are low revenue months until the taxes start coming in. So, but we have about $7.5 million in the plate to handle our expenditures. So I think we're in good shape with that. So I really have no other comment to make on the expenses. The month looks normal to me, so I don't think there's any concern. I would like to, in our packet this month is a Borough of Wyomissing insurance summary. It looks like this. We discussed this first at finance and admin last month, but I've looked at it since, and I looked at 5-year loss history, and I'm absolutely astounded. They're looking, and this is from EHD, our new insurance broker. For years 20, 21, 22, all of our losses, meaning payments from insurance companies to whomever, averaged about $140,000 a year. In 23, it total is $606,900. And in 24, $777,700. Those are huge increases. And I think that's a large contributor for our insurance premiums are going to be going up around $300,000 this year. I think council should be damn concerned. This is a horrible trend. And I don't know if, since I'm not privy to whatever goes on with these things, I can't explain it. I feel very frustrated, but when I looked at it, I was absolutely gassed. I mean, that's a horrible trend. And if I were you on the committee as a council, I would be damn concerned. This must be there must be some reason for this. Why are these increases going up like this? It just doesn't happen. Why?
Well, let me.
Can I answer?
Yes.
First of all, the average increase in the property and casualty across the board without claims is going up somewhere in the 15 to 20% range.
Okay.
You just see that with the LA fires,
Yep.
the hurricanes, what happened in North Carolina. We're all paying for that stuff. We had some incidents, yes, that were one-offs, and the insurance company paid unbeknownst, as stated earlier tonight, that the borough paid a claim. The borough didn't pay anything. The borough paid the insurance company to pay a claim.
Right.
So there's a big difference. But yeah, of course, and if you look closely, there's one item that went up significantly.
Yes. I know I've had several calls about this $500,000. Apparently, they have ability to go on the website to see these different reports.
If it was part of agenda documents, yes, but in that particular item, it's litigation and personnel, so it's not something we can comment on in public.
Well, I understand that, but I've gotten several calls to, well, what's this $500,000 under law enforcement? I said, I don't know. And they say, oh, you're not telling me. I don't know. It's very embarrassing to me in a way, but that's...
You could tell them to call me and say, I can't tell you.
Well, that's fine. I can't tell them because I don't know anything. But
Right.
anyway, so that's, I don't know, I'm just very concerned about that. So,
You're
maybe
not the only one.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, none of us like the
It was,
numbers.
it was,
Well,
the pill was swallowed, Dave, but it's not just a vacuum. It's versus the situation and the projected costs and expenses of litigation. So you had some issues out there that you got away, and that's what we did.
And again, speaking out of ignorance, not knowing, but are there procedures and policies to prevent things, if something happened and you had to pay that something out? Is there
Something
some-
happened.
Oh, I don't care what it is, don't tell me, I know you won't, don't. But are there procedures in place to make sure that that doesn't happen again?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Weren't there before?
Yes, there were.
There were-
Mr. Were.
well, all right, that's fine.
Excuse me, don't stick your tongue out like a little
I
child.
didn't.
Who?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, were you talking to me?
No, not
Oh.
you, Dave. You're a little bit more grown
No,
up.
well, anyway, but, all right, so I don't want to belabor, but I'm very concerned. So I don't like the trend, and if I was counsel, I would be concerned about it myself. The other issue is, I think Mr. Gianni has addressed it, is the selection of our new insurance broker. Again, I'm not be privy to that, but I guess a couple questions I have. My understanding is that we've had the Loomis company for many, many years, as I recall. I don't know the gentleman, so I have no active right on that. But I understand from different sources that when you decided to change brokers, he was not told that. Is that true?
So first of all, we interviewed 2 other brokers, and this was discussed at the August Finance Committee meeting that I
Right.
believe you were at.
Yes.
Loomis was well aware for the past 2 years of all the areas that we were unhappy with their service. I didn't feel I needed to rehash a conversation I had already had with them as to why we felt their services to be lacking, and we decided to look for another broker.
My understanding is incorrect, and I thought, okay.
Well, the accusations have been made that they dropped us too, which is totally false. We dropped them.
Right, that was my understanding,
Yeah, well.
again, not knowing the details of it.
Frankly,
Okay,
all's well that ends well. We have received much better service from EHD in the short period of time that we've been there. So I think from a staff perspective, we're just happy to move on and move forward.
but we're also paying $300,000 more.
We would have been doing
Yeah,
that. That
we're
had
not
nothing
paying-
to do with
that's
switching
not-
brokers.
That's,
We're
It's
not
not-
paying it to each.
Dave, it's not as a result of that.
well, okay.
We're with the same carrier that we were with under Loomis for the majority of our coverage. That carrier originally chose not to requote us because of the loss history and then decided to, but it has nothing to do with switching brokers and everything to
Okay.
do with the loss history.
That's the only comments I have. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to follow up with Dave.
Go ahead.
With regard to these issues, and I mentioned this a while ago, that if we're gonna have changes of leadership in different positions here, it should be done by council, and it should be done by evaluation with all the issues that we intend to get out of that group, that company, or whatever it is.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what he's talking about right now.
The insurance company?
Yeah,
It went in front of-
It went before that. We voted on it.
now, I don't know who interviewed these people. Who interviewed these people? Did the borough
The borough
council
manager.
interview these? No, that's my point. My point is that borough council should be involved in whoever we pick, whatever it is, whether it happens to be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever it is. If we're gonna hire somebody here, it should be done according to state law, which requires numbers of bids.
No,
and we should
No,
be
it
involved-
doesn't. It does not require bids.
Not for professional services, Ron.
No, Ron, you're wrong.
Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong when it comes to being even-handed with who we're hiring, so that we know who we're hiring and we know what we're getting for our services. There's nothing wrong with that, getting bids. Usually when you get bids, you get a lower bid. And there are people around this table that are pretty darn smart, that if we're gonna bid something like insurance, matter of fact, we got some guy here, he might have to recuse himself, but he knows a little bit about insurance, and we should be allowing our people to talk to people and see what their bids are, and then make an informed decision afterwards, not be told what we
Okay,
have
well,
to live
Ron,
with.
you should have then,
Should've what?
you should have.
I wasn't here then.
Well.
I didn't get, I
It was
couldn't do
put-
anything.
It was
because-
documented and so forth, so.
the change of brokers came up in a finance and admin committee meeting. I don't remember what month it was.
It was, I believe, August.
It was hot as hell.
I think it was August.
I remember that.
It was August. And
And if you're gonna, if, on a property casualty side, I don't do that, but it is almost impossible to get competing brokers to get quotes, to bring them in to see who the best quote is, because you have to recuse, one of them has to say, if they both have company A, it's called Travelers as an example, only one's gonna get a quote from Travelers, so at the end of the day, you're creating the same problem. The committee was made aware of service issues they had with our previous broker, potentially some things that may or may not have been insured, that may or should have been insured, and it was dealt with.
Well, I
It was
can't,
dealt with, it was dealt with in a public domain here in August.
Ron, the basis for that exemption is that professional service is not judged on price alone. It's not like they're interchangeable widgets. And we, as it turns out, we wound up with better service, which is something that'll never be in a bid. We could bid till the cows come home. You won't see that in a bid.
well, I guess on the other side of the coin, we did a service to everyone 20 years ago when we did this, and whether it was required bids or not required bids. We had
Service in your mind.
We had people that represented the borough for a long, long time. And what we decided to do was to go out and seek other bids because we thought we might get a more competitive requirement. So we got all these people together, and a lot of them weren't happy because they didn't get the job. But, so that's what we did to make it fair and equitable to everyone. Because there are a lot of people here that said, I lived here for my whole life. You can't like take me away from this job.
Ron, they went out and spoke to different brokers to find out.
Sure.
I know that. I'm saying we should be doing that, not Michelle.
Why? Are you
No, we shouldn't
qualified?
be.
Yes,
You're qualified to interview insurance
I'm
companies.
qualified, well, I'm just as qualified as Michelle is, because if we're the ones responsible for what
Okay.
happens around here, we should be responsible.
Well,
for
this was, this
doing-
action had already been taken care of. You were very much aware of this. So I'm
I was
misunderstanding.
playing along, because I
Well,
can't,
then you shouldn't have played along.
you said I had to.
Okay.
because we work for Michelle.
No, that's not.
That's
That's wrong.
inappropriate.
That's.
Come on,
You
Ron.
said
It's a bullshit line, Ron.
Yep, knock it
it
off.
came from
Yeah.
Bill.
I don't think.
She's the boss. Those are your words.
What? Where are you coming up with this stuff, Ron?
I've been sitting here listening
Okay,
to it for 3
and
years.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's statement of operations.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 12, accounts payable, the general fund, Bureau of Water, sewer fund, refuge and recycling fund. And I'll entertain a motion to approve that report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call please.
Councilmember Brenner?
Yes.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James?
Yes. Okay, and also in your packet is the tax collector's report, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we're now at public comment for non-agenda items. Are there any?
I'm here.
Oh, I should.
Again, Adrian Jadik, Wyomissing. I'm here to express my deep disappointment with the way borough officials, particularly Chief Phillips and the borough manager, have handled long-standing concern about the 18-wheeler that has been parked indefinitely on Van Reed Road.
This was an agenda item, sir.
No. And it doesn't say that I
Sir,
cannot
yes, it
comment.
does.
No, sir. I have
You're out
the
of
right
order.
to make my comment. It's not about the agenda item. It's not.
Did we talk about the?
You didn't even let me finish. I object on the Sunshine Act. I have the right to make my public comment. And Mr. Lutz over there can tell you that I have the right to do
Oh,
this.
okay. Well, you go ahead, attorney.
Thank you so much. This truck presents line of sight hazards and a litany of issues and a quality of life nuisance for nearby residents. Despite multiple complaints, Chief Phillips and his department have shrugged off legitimate safety concerns. The problem is 6 years. We're not talking something that happened yesterday. It took you 6 years, Bill, to see that there is a wire on the ground. That is the problem. This is the subject of my comment, not the truck. Your inability to solve this for 6 years, despite complaints. They've chosen to rely only on incomplete reportable accident statistics. This is what the chief said, while ignoring direct accounts from neighbors who have experienced near misses, property damage, blocking sightlines, and in that intersection. Michelle has also been aware of these complaints and essentially repeated Chief's stance that an 18-wheeler is allowed to park there indefinitely. So my question is, Chief, why don't we make an advertisement or those nice little billboards and say, hey, every 18-wheeler can park for free in Wyomissing? Why don't we do that? Is that okay? No, it's not. Yet we look at the borough-owned I-1 zoning provisions. Trucks can't remain on private property in that district for more than 12 hours. They must be in the screened loading areas. It defies common sense that our borough would strictly prohibit extended truck parking on private lots, but effectively permit the same vehicles to occupy public streets forever. Instead of resolving this obvious conflict between Chapter 15 and I-1 ordinance, the borough appears to have done nothing but dismiss concerned residents. I'm also calling attention on Solicitor Hartman. He served as solicitor when the I-1 ordinance was amended and also when Chapter 15 was amended. Yet he has stayed silent about how these ordinances leave a glaring loophole. In fact, I recently sent him a certified letter requesting clarification and have received no response. The borough solicitor has a professional and ethical duty to ensure our code is consistent and serves the public interest, but he has failed to address this contradictory situation.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Am I on time or do I finish? How does it work?
We paused it.
Thank you.
Are you suggesting that the parking of an 18-wheeler on the street violates the zoning ordinance?
I am suggesting that two things. What happens is, the question is, it has been said that that truck is okay to park, which makes absolutely no sense. And what I was asking him, let's advertise, let's put a flyer on in each truck parking lot. Say,
Yeah,
hey,
I heard-
instead
I
of
heard
paying
that.
here,
I'm asking
come
you-
here. Go ahead.
I'm asking you, I
Yes.
just want to know the basis,
The
the
basis. Go
legal
ahead.
basis. Are you suggesting that that 18-wheeler parking on a public street is a violation of the zoning ordinance?
I'm saying is inconsistent with the zoning. I am aware of the fact that the zoning refers to private property.
That's all I wanted to clarify.
Good. And it's inconsistent because it doesn't make sense that the zoning on one hand says, oh, we gotta keep the trucks only for 12 hours and behind bushes. But then we can leave them for 6 bloody years on the street.
Is your question to
Yeah, my question.
Can I finish?
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, now you're
Thank
back
you.
on the clock.
So I asked this council to hold Chief Phillips accountable for ignoring 6 years of resident complaints and evident safety issues. I cannot imagine that the officers went by and said, oh, no problem, nothing to see here. Demand a formal legal opinion from the solicitor on whether indefinite parking of commercial trucks in I-1 district aligns with the spirit of our zoning codes. Is that okay? Because I will print flyers and go to every trucker, say, hey, you can come here and park the truck. Amend Chapter 15 if necessary so that the public on-street parking in I-1 is not given a free pass that undermines the very rules we apply to private property. Wyomissing residents deserve a borough government that protects public safety and enforces its own codes consistently. It's time to end this pattern of shoulders shrugging and bringing clarity and consistency to our enforcement practices. Thank you so much.
Are there any other public comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second, we are adjourned. Thank you one and all.